Hi, this is Usman Malik again of LondonLawTutor.com, and this is the second lecture in our series of podcasts for the YouTube channel. This lecture is going to be on constitutional law, and this is a very important undergraduate LLB subject. The two main topics that are of utmost importance are parliamentary sovereignty and separation of powers. In this introductory podcast, we will be focusing on separation of powers and what the doctrine entails. It is important to understand at the outset that every legal system needs to have separation of powers in its constitution. And in England, we have what we call an uncodified and unwritten constitution, whereby a lot of different documents and conventions together form the Constitution of England. I would like to at this stage also tell you that there's very important things and important aspects that we need to comprehend in order to understand, in particular, the doctrine of separation of powers. For example, it is important for any just legal system, in order to empower its citizens, to have a mechanism in place whereby each branch, each organ of the state is accountable. And as the saying goes, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, constitutional law, the doctrine of separation of powers, involves not having too much power concentrated in one institution. So there are three institutions: executive, judiciary, and legislature. It is the job of the legislature, who are the elected representatives of the people, to enact legislation and to make new laws. And the people sitting in the legislature are also, some of them at least, are part of the executive branch as well. So for example, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet are also in the executive branch, so it is their duty not only to help create the law but also to implement it. And we also have the judiciary, who can hold the officials in the legal system accountable for their actions, so there is no abuse or misuse of power. So these things work together to, the judiciary to have a check and balance on the executive. And if you compare third world countries, for example, to the developed countries, you will realize that there's a lot of abuse of power on the part of the officials in the legal system, and hence that makes the quality of the legal system less when compared to its Western counterparts. Obviously, in order to have progress in a society, in a nation, we need to improve the quality of its legal system and provide justice to the people, to an ordinary citizen. And everybody needs to be equal in the eyes of the law. And that is an important aspect that is missing in many of the third world countries. Furthermore, I would like to add and finish this podcast by saying that the constitutional law is important in any legal system, and it is important to understand its repercussions for for having a government that does not abide or uphold the Constitution. And the judiciary is the most important in my view, because it is the final check and balance on the misuse of power by the executive in a country. And I hope this would give you some understanding of how constitutional law, also known as public law sometimes, functions, and in particular the doctrine of separation of powers. Thank you.